planar graph, right? And in today's class, I'll tell you how to check the planarity in the graph. When a graph is given, how to check whether it is a planar graph or not. So manually, how to check whether a graph is planar or not, that we have seen, right? So how to check what exactly means planarity? If there are any edge crossings, then that is not a planar graph. If there are no edge crossings, then it is a planar graph, right? So how you will do that? Whenever a graph is given, we will first redraw it. We'll try to redraw the graph and we'll check whether there are any edge crossings or not. If yes, we'll conclude that it is a non-planar graph. If not, it is a planar graph, right? Now we'll see by using an algorithm how to check the planarity in the graph, right? That is elementary reduction algorithm we'll see now. Okay? Before that, I'll tell you what is a region of a planar graph. Now, what is the region of a planar graph? Wait for a while, I'll share the screen. So, planarity of a graph. Before that, I'll see what is a region of a graph, region of a plane. So, generally a planar graph will divide the plane into connected areas. A planar graph generally divides the plane into connected areas, and these areas are called as regions of a planar. Regions of a plane. We'll also call them phases. Regions or phases of a plane. A planar graph will divide the plane into connected components. This is important. Connected components is important. They are known as the regions. Let me give you one example. I'll just go a little bit faster, ma'am. Is it okay? Yeah, if you I have just now I have shared the screen. If you did not understand it anywhere, you can tell me in the middle. Why? Because I have to finish this mostly by next week. What I'll do is, if required, I'll take an extra class tomorrow if required. And I'll start the third unit in the next week. Third unit, I'll give you what are the important topics that I'll discuss. Okay. Okay. If you don't understand at any point, you please let me know in the middle mark. Okay? Now, let me give you one example graph. A, B, C, D, E, G. Let us suppose this is a graph, right? So this planar graph, I can say that it is a planar graph. Why? Because there are no edge crossings, right? So it is a planar graph. This planar graph divides the plane. This is your plane. Divides this plane into connected components. Right? What are the different connected components here? You have this is one connected component, right? I can call this as a region. This connected component is a region. And this is one more connected component. Connected component means what? Do you remember the connected graph? Connected graph means there should exist a path, not the edge. There should exist a path from one vertex to every other vertex in the graph, right? So from A, you can reach B, you can also reach G, you can also reach H, right? So this is one connected component. We'll call it as one region. And this is another connected component. This is R2. And this is another connected component, right? So this is one more region. And each plane graph determines a region of infinite area. This is known as exterior region. You know what is the length of this region, or what is the area of this region? That is known, right? Why? Because we have enclosed components here. We have A, B, G, H are the enclosed components or enclosed vertices of this area, right? Borders are there for these components. B, C, D, F, G are the borders of this component. C, F, E are the borders of this region R3. But there is an area with the infinite. There is a region with an infinite area that is known as exterior region. So this is our exterior region. Total, there are 4 regions in this given planar graph. There exist 4 regions in this graph. Am I clear, ma'am? Total of we have 4 regions in the graph I gave you, right? Now we'll see what is the degree of a region. You know what is the degree of a vertex, right? The degree of a vertex is the number of edges incident with it. What is the degree of vertex A? It is 1 and 2. Number of edges incident with this vertex is the degree of a vertex. Now coming to the degree of a region. The degree of a region, sorry. So this is R1, this is R2, this is R3, and this is the exterior region, right? We can define the degree of a region as degree of a region is the length of the closed path. Length of the closed path. Length of the closed path which borders the region. Right? So now we'll see what is the degree of the regions. So degree of region R1 we'll try to find out. Degree of a region is the length of the closed path. What is the closed path for R1, ma? This is the closed path for R1, right? So what is the length? Yeah, if you try to see the path, what is the path or the border of the region? A to B, B to G, A to B, B to G, G to H, border or the closed path. So it should close at the same vertex, or it should end at the same vertex. Then only it becomes a closed path. If you stop here, it will not be a closed path. Is it a closed path? No, this is not a closed path. Closed path means there should be a path from H to A also. Now what is the length, ma? 1, 2, 3, 4. Therefore, the degree of the region R1 is 4. Path means it is a closed path, I can say. And this is the region. Similarly, try to find the length of the degree of the region 2. So this is the second region, right? What is the path? B to C, B to C, C to D, and D to C, C to F, F to G, and G to D. Now this is the closed path for R2. What is the length, ma? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is the degree of the region R2. Similarly, R3. What is the region? The enclosed path F to C, right? What is the length? 1, 2, 3 is the length. Now coming to this R region R4, what is the length? So the region for R4 is what? Exterior region. What is the exterior region for this? A to B, B to C, C to D, D to C, C to E, E to F, F to G, G to H, and H to A. That is the enclosed path for exterior region. Let me write the path: A to B, B to C, C to D, D to C again, C to E, F, G, H, and A. Am I right? A to B, B to C, C to D, excuse me, D to C, E, F, G, H. Yes. Now what is the length? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is the is it correct, ma? What is this is R4, right? What is the closed path for R4? Tell me what I wrote is correct or not? Is the degree of region 4 is 9? Is it correct? This is the path. I mean, what I am saying, the degree I am saying, but you don't know what is the length of this path. That is the reason we are calling it as infinite area. This is outer area, right? So this inner area you can calculate, right? This inner area you can calculate, but what is the outer area of this mark? This is your plane, right? This is your plane. Let us suppose this is your plane, right? On this plane, this area, this enclosed area, you know, right? This enclosed area, you know. Similarly, enclosed area of R2 is also known. Enclosed area of R3 is also known. But the area of this region is not known. This is infinite. But the degree means what? What is the length, or it is bordered, or this region is bordered with how many vertices or with how many edges? That is the degree. What exactly is the exterior region means? The length or the area of this exterior region will be infinite because it is on the plane. The remaining area of the plane, we can say it as region, exterior region. In this plane, some area will be occupied by R1, some area will be occupied by R2, some will be occupied by R3. But the remaining is the region for fourth region, right? But when you are talking about the degree, what is the border for this R4? That is, we are concentrating. The border for that region you are concentrating. Is it clear? I am talking about the borders. Let us suppose ఒక ఇల్లు కట్టాను అనుకోమ్మా. ఐ విల్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ ఇన్ తెలుగు. నేను ఒక సమ్ 100 hours లో ఒక ఇల్లు కట్టేసిన. అస్యూమ్ దట్ నా ప్లేన్ వచ్చేసి ఒక ఐ కెన్ సే దట్ ఒక ఖాళీ ప్లేస్ ఉంది. ఖాళీ ప్లేస్ లో నేను ఒక ఇల్లు కట్టేశాను. 100 గజాల్లో నేను ఇల్లు కట్టేసినప్పుడు ఆ ఖాళీ ప్లేస్ నాకు ఎంత ఉందో తెలియదు. నేను అప్పుడు ఏమంటాను, ఒక బెడ్రూమ్ ఏరియా ఎంతో నేను చెప్పగలను. ఐ కెన్ కాల్ దట్ బెడ్రూమ్. దట్ ఈస్ వన్ కాంపోనెంట్. 4 sides నాకు ఒక సైడ్ డోర్ ఉంటుంది, 3 sides వాల్స్ ఉంటాయి. సో దట్ ఈస్ వన్ క్లోజ్డ్ పాత్, రైట్? సో దట్ ఐ కెన్ కాల్ ఇట్ as one region. Kitchen I can call it as one region. Living room I can call it as one region. But when I talk about the exterior region, నేను ఇల్లు ఎంతైతే కట్టానో అది నా ఇంటీరియర్ రీజియన్ అవుతుంది. ఇంటీరియర్ రీజియన్ అవుతుంది. నా ఇంటికి 4 వైపుల గోడలు ఉంటాయి కదా, ఆ గోడలు అవతల నాకు ఎంత ప్లేస్ ఉంటుందో తెలియదు. I mean, are you following? Just for you to understand, for you to make you understand easily, that is the reason I am explaining it in clear Telugu, right? సో నా గోడలు అవతల నా ఇంటి బయటలో ఎంత ప్లేస్ ఉంటుందో నాకు తెలియదు. దట్ ఐ కెన్ కాల్ ఇట్ యాజ్ ఎక్స్టీరియర్ రీజియన్. ఓకే, ఆ ఎక్స్టీరియర్ రీజియన్ కి బార్డర్ ఏమవుతుంది? The 4 walls which surrounded my house is the border for the exterior region, and the 4 borders which surrounded my bedroom is the region for I mean, is the border for one region. The four walls which surrounded the kitchen is one border for another region. Am I clear now? The borders for the exterior region are the four walls which surrounds my house. Clear? Shravya, is it clear now? Now you tell me, whenever you are calculating the exterior region, do we calculate only the four sides of your house or the four walls of your house, or you will include, suppose in my bedroom, నాకు four walls ఉన్నాయి 90 చుట్టూ, దాని లోపల నేను ఒక బెడ్రూమ్ కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ చేశాను with some four walls, I mean four surroundings, and one more kitchen is also there. Do we calculate all the four walls which surrounds your house, I mean which surrounds your bedroom, as well as the one which surrounds your kitchen? When you are calculating the exterior region of your house, do you calculate or do you include the four walls or the border of your bedroom as the border and the border of your kitchen or the border of your other rooms in your house? Exterior region means నీ మిగిలిన ప్లేస్ ఏదైతుందో దాన్ని అటాచ్ చేయండి. No, you will not include. But when you observe here, when here I wrote the length or the border for the region 4 as C2D, D2C, I have included. You can conclude that it is one more region, something like it is a bedroom of your house or kitchen of your house. But this should not be included. Am I right? But we have here, I have included, which is wrong, right? So only the borders, the exterior borders of your house should only be calculated. Therefore, I can say that the degree of region 4 is, you have to exclude this, the internal part. You have to exclude. So what is the outer part? A to B, B to C, C to E anukunta. C to E nena? Yes, C to E. C to E, E to F, F to G, G to H, H to A. Now what is the length? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is the correct answer. Clear? The region 4, the degree of the region 4 is 7. It is not 9. We have to include only the outer border. This is about regions and the degree of a region. Is it clear, ma? So with respect to this, we have two formulas which we'll be using in calculating, I mean in checking the planarity of a graph also, right? First point, you please note down these formulas, ma. 3 formulas I'll give you. If G is any planar graph, if G is a planar graph, then sum of the degrees of the region, sum means summation, degrees of the region, where R is a region in the graph, it is equal to 2 times the number of edges in the planar graph. In the beginning, I gave you one example. I mean, I gave you one formula. I mean, I think at the time of types of graphs, I gave you number of vertices in a simple graph. It is equal to 2 times the number of edges, right? At the time of explaining the degree of a vertex concept, there I explained this formula, right? When you are talking about the regions, it is similar, right? Sum of the degrees of the vertices is equal to 2 times the number of edges. You please do remember this one. And the second formula is, if G is any connected planar graph, then V minus E plus R is equal to 2. V means number of vertices in the graph, number of edges in the graph, number of regions in the graph. It is equal to 2. Vertices minus edges plus regions is equal to 3. These two formulas you have to remember. Along with these two, one more is there. If G is any simple planar graph, connected planar graph, then E is less than or equal to 3V minus 6. So this is the condition to be satisfied for a connected planar graph. If regions were not given, then you can use this. If the regions were given, then you can use this formula. Is it clear now? Please take down these three formulas, make it fast. We'll see the elementary reduction algorithm. Reeti? ఇంకొకటి వేసుకో పాప. Is finished, ma? Just take this formula, these 3 lines you take, ma. Shall I raise it? హాఫ్ వేయవమ్మా తిన్నాకేస్తూ. Suppose consider the same previous graph. We'll see whether whatever the formula we have written is correct or not. We'll just check it. We have 3 regions, right? R1, R2, R3 and R4, right? Now how many edges we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 edges are there. Number of edges are 10, right? So how many regions we have? Number of regions are 4 regions, right? What is the formula? Degree or sum of the degrees of the regions is equal to 2 times the number of edges. We have calculated the degrees of regions, right? R1 plus R2 plus R3 plus R4. Degrees of all these regions we have calculated. What is the degree of R1? The enclosed path, length of the enclosed path. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is for R2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus R3. 1, 2, 3. Plus R4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? When you add these, what is the answer? 10 plus 10, 20. I can write 20 as 2 into 10. 10 is number of edges, right? Therefore, you can say the degree of a region is equal to 2 times the number of edges, right? Clear, ma? Take down. Five 19, what happened? Let me know if you have finished or not. స్నానం చేసుకోవచ్చా? నాని వేడి నీళ్ళు పెడతా కొద్దిసేపు. Shall I erase it, ma? తడి చేతులతో ముట్టుకో ఫోన్. Have you finished?
That's okay, na?
Am I audible, ma? Next concept is detection of planarity in a graph. Of a graph, not in a graph. Planarity of a graph, whether the graph is plane or not. And the algorithm used is elementary reduction algorithm. Elementary reduction algorithm. First, we'll see the steps. Let us see what are the steps we follow to check the planarity. First step is, first we'll check whether the graph is a connected graph or disconnected graph. If the graph is disconnected, what do you mean by disconnected graph? There exists more than one connected component. Am I right? Disconnected graph will have more than one connected components. Right? Something like this. This is a disconnected graph. This is one component. This is another component. Right? So first, if a graph is disconnected graph, if a graph is disconnected graph, then how to check the planarity of the graph? We have to check whether each component is planar or not. You have to check whether each component is planar. If all the components of a disconnected graph are planar, then the given disconnected graph is a planar graph. That is the first step we have to consider. That is whenever a disconnected graph is given. If not, if a connected graph is given, next, first observe the connected graph and eliminate the self loops. First step for a connected graph to be followed is eliminate the self loops. Second, next step is eliminate parallel edges. Eliminate parallel edges. Why? Because there is no crossing and no what we call self loops. There is no crossing for self loops and a parallel edges also. Let us suppose if you have a graph like this with multiple edges and parallel edges. The parallel edges and the self loops does not result any new thing in edge crossings, right? Suppose if an edge is crossing this edge, then you can say that it is a crossover. Suppose instead of this edge, let us suppose if an edge is crossing this edge, you can, by observing this edge crossing, you may tell that this is a crossover point and it is not a planar graph. But what is the thing? Here you have these two edges between the same set of vertices, same pair of vertices, right? That is the reason when there is an edge crossing happens with this edge, actually this doesn't result anything and this doesn't change the graph. Why? Because we have an edge between these pair of vertices, therefore you can eliminate this parallel edge. In the same way, if there is a edge crossing with this self loop, as there is if the connection is from self loop, means the connection is from a vertex to itself. Reaching from a vertex to itself is invalid. You can also reach from a vertex to itself, right? So there is no need of these self loops. That is the reason when you are talking about the planarity of a graph, you have to eliminate the self loops and parallel edges. Why? Because elimination of self loops and parallel edges does not result in anything in the path of a graph. Suppose if you eliminate any of this path, then there is no case that you cannot reach any other vertex by eliminating this vertex. This edge. That is not possible, right? So you have to eliminate self loops and the parallel edges. Next most important point is eliminate a vertex whose degree is 2. Eliminate a vertex whose degree is 2. You cannot eliminate all the vertices whose degree is 2. You eliminate a vertex whose degree is 2 such that 2 means what? The degree is 2 means what? It is incident with 2 edges, right? Such that if the 2 edges are in series, such that the 2 edges are in series, you have to eliminate a vertex whose degree is 2 such that the 2 edges are in the series. You can suppose if you have a graph like this, A to B, and the one more graph is one second. One second, ma'am. I will give you one. So when you have a graph like this, now consider this vertex A. Here the vertex A is having a degree as 2. Now when you observe the 2 edges incident with this vertex, these 2 are in series. Itla connect ayi unnai gamma. So you can call them as these 2 edges are in the series. Now if you have a vertex with degree 2 such that its 2 edges are in series, then you can eliminate this vertex and you can have an edge from B to C like this, or you can write this B, C. This is one edge. Clear? These type of vertices you can eliminate. You can eliminate these type of vertices. And there is step 4 and its previous step. What is its previous step? Its previous step is eliminating the multiple edges. Step 3 and 4 are to be repeated. You have to repeat all these until all the parallel edges are removed and until all the vertices with the degree 2 are eliminated. Now, can anyone tell me what is the need of repeating the third step? Suppose if you have a graph like this, suppose if you have a graph like this, right? What is the third step, ma? Suppose second step is what? As it is not a disconnected graph, so you can directly go to the second step. Second step is eliminate the self loop. Third step is eliminate multiple edges, right? Now, the fourth step is what? After eliminating these 2, that means after performing second step and third step, you got a graph like this. Now, next step is you eliminate a vertex whose degree is 2 such that 2 edges. So here, this vertex B is having a degree 2. Therefore, you can eliminate this. After eliminating this, what is the graph you will get? You will get a graph like this. Right? Now, what did I tell you? After step 4, you have to repeatedly perform step 3 and step 4. Why we have to perform? Already we have eliminated the parallel edges. After this fourth step also, you are again checking for the parallel edges. Why? Because if you have a graph of this type, after eliminating this vertex B with a degree 2, then you got one more parallel edge. Clear? A to C, already one edge is given in the graph, and after eliminating this vertex B, you got one more parallel edge. That is the reason you again and again check for the parallel edges when you perform fourth step. That is the reason. Next step is repeat step 3 and 4. Is it clear? Now, after performing this step 3 and 4 repeatedly, next step is you will get a new graph, right? After that means you have eliminated some parallel edges, you have eliminated some loops, and you have eliminated some vertices with degree 2. And after performing all these three steps, you will get a new graph H. G is a new given graph. From this, after performing the steps what I told you just now, you will get a new graph. Now you need to check if the new graph is having a single edge. Check whether the new graph obtained is having a single edge. Then single edge means what? There exists only one edge. There is no possibility for edge crossover. So if there is a graph with single edge, it is obviously a planar graph. It is a planar graph. Now check whether the obtained new graph obtained is a complete graph with 4 vertices. That means if a new graph obtained is a complete graph with 4 vertices. We have seen in the previous class, a complete graph with 3 vertices is planar, a complete graph with 4 vertices is planar, but a complete graph with 5 vertices is not planar. That is the reason, if a graph obtained is a complete graph with planar, you can simply say that it is a planar graph. Next, third condition is, if the newly obtained graph H is having the number of vertices greater than or equal to 5 and the number of edges greater than or equal to 7, then before this I gave you three formulas, right? What are the 3 formulas? Sum of the degrees of all the vertices is equal to 2 into R, and V minus E plus R is equal to 2, and one more is E less than R equal to 3V minus 6. 3V minus 6. Here you are talking about only the vertices and the edges. Therefore, I cannot use the second formula. And you are not talking about the degree of a vertex, degree of a region. So you cannot use this first formula also. So to check the planarity of a graph, you can use only this third formula. So if the number of vertices are greater than or equal to 5, right? If the number of vertices are greater than or equal to 5 and the edges are greater than or equal to 7, then you check whether this formula is valid or not, or whether this formula is satisfied. This inequality is satisfied or not. Check whether the inequality is satisfied or not. If yes, the graph is planar. If not, the graph is not planar graph. Check for the inequality. Is it clear, ma? So in this way, eliminatory reduction algorithm is used. First step is, first you have to check whether the given graph is disconnected or not. If disconnected, you have to consider all the connected components and check whether all the connected components are planar or not. Right? Second step is, if the given graph is a connected graph, then if there exist any loops, you eliminate them. If there are any parallel edges, you eliminate them. Next, if there are any vertices with degree 2 such that its 2 edges are in series, then you have to eliminate that vertex. And again, you check for the parallel edges. If yes, you remove them. And again, check for the degree of a vertex with 2. Right? And these 2 steps you have to perform until all the vertices with degree 2 are eliminated, not with exactly degree 2. Degree 2 such that its edges are incident or in series, and until all the parallel edges are eliminated. Now you will get a new graph. If the new graph obtained is having a single edge, you simply say that it is a planar graph. If the new graph obtained is a complete graph K4, then again it is a planar graph. Or if the graph contains vertices greater than or equal to 5 and edges greater than or equal to 7, then you check minus 6 is satisfied or not. If yes, it is a planar graph. If not, it is a non-planar graph. Is it clear now? Have you all understood all the steps? Yes, ma'am. Then we'll see one example on this. Consider a graph Take down this graph, all of you. So this is the graph given. Check whether this graph is planar or not. So what is the first step? Listen carefully, ma. We have to check whether it is a disconnected graph or not. Is it a disconnected graph? Disconnected graph means there should not exist a path from one vertex to all other vertices. So here, when you consider any vertex A, from A I can reach B, I can reach C, I can reach D, I can reach E. From one vertex, you can reach all other vertices. Therefore, it is a connected graph. So first point is not applicable. Second point, eliminate self loops. And third point, eliminate parallel loops, parallel edges. I'll just apply both second and third step and I'll redraw the graph. So how many parallel edges we have? This is one self loop and this is one parallel edges. I think we have to eliminate only these two, right? So after eliminating these two, what is the graph you will get? I'll eliminate E2, which is a parallel edge. I'll eliminate self loop, which is again, self loop also I'll eliminate. Right now, this is the graph. Now check the degrees of the vertices. What is the degree of A? 1, 2, 3, 4. Degree of B? 1, 2, 3. C? 1, 2, 3, 4. D? 1, 2, 3. E? 1, 2, 3. There is no vertex with the degree 2, right? So you can skip the remaining steps. Fourth step also you can skip. Next, what is the last step? This is the new graph obtained, right? This is the given graph. This is the new graph. Now, what is the first condition? Is the new graph contains a single edge? No. What is the second condition? Is the new graph is a complete graph with 4 vertices? No. Now go for the third step. If the number of vertices are greater than or equal to 5 and edges are greater than or equal to 6. Is the number of vertices are greater than or equal to 5? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number of vertices are 5. How many edges we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Number of edges are 9, which is again greater than or equal to 7. Therefore, one second. Once how many edges we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 9 edges. Now what is the condition? Number of edges are greater than or equal to 3, sorry, less than or equal to 3 into number of vertices minus 6. You just substitute and check whether this inequality is satisfied. What is the edges? 9. Less than or equal to 3 into vertices are 5 minus 6. 9 less than or equal to 15 minus 6. 9 less than or equal to 9. So the condition is, sorry, inequality is satisfied. Therefore, you can say that the graph is a planar graph. Clear, ma? Take down all of you. All of you take down.
Sudah Papa? Papa? Ya ada, kamu lagi kok? నువ్వు కూర్చున్నావు దాని మీద మూత్రం పోసి మిగిలిపోయినా వాసన
Finish, ma? Shall I erase it? Shall I give you one more example? Can you do it? Take one more graph. ఏ టైం జాయిన్ అవుతున్నారమ్మా? 66. At what time you are joining? Can you try it on your own? Check whether this is planar graph or not. Everyone check whether this graph is planar or not. Okay. Do it fast, ma. Are you doing, ma? Are you able to do? Make it fast. So what is the first step? First, you need to check whether it is disconnected. Is it a disconnected graph? Is it a disconnected graph? No, we cannot. Why? Because from A you can reach B, you can reach C, you can reach D, and you can reach E. All other vertices in the graph can be reached from J. Therefore, it is not a disconnected graph. Second, eliminate self loops and parallel edges. Let me eliminate self loops and parallel edges, and I'll redraw the graph. So do we have any parallel edges and self loops? No, you have eliminated. Next, what is the fourth step? Identify a degree with vertex 2 such that the two edges are in series and that vertex should be eliminated, right? Now, what is the degree of A, ma? 1, 2, 3, right? 3. Degree of B, 1, 2, 3. Degree of C, 1, 2. Degree of D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Degree of E is 1, 2, 3. Right? We have a vertex with a degree 2. Right? Now check whether its two vertices are in series or not. Yes, its two vertices are in series. Series అంటే ఇట్లా కనెక్ట్ అయి ఉండాలమ్మా. Okay. Now these two vertices are in series. So what you have to do? You have to eliminate this vertex. Remove this vertex. Now you remove this vertex. Then what you will get? A. I have eliminated the vertex C, right? So when you remove the vertex C, the edge is from B2. What you have to do after eliminating that vertex, you have to again check for multiple edges. Repeat step 3 and 4, right? So go to step 3. What is step 3? Check for multiple edges. Do we have any multiple edges? Yes, we have a multiple edge here. So you have to remove this. Then what you will get? A, E, B, D. Right? Now, again check do we have any loops? No. Multiple edges? No. What is the degree of A? 1, 2, 3, E 1, 2, 3, C, D 1, 2, 3, B again 1, 2, 3. Therefore, it is a new graph H. Now, if the new graph H, does it have only single edge? No. Is it a complete graph with 4 vertices? Yes. 4 vertices with every vertex is incident with every other vertex. Therefore, it is a complete graph. If you get a complete graph with 4 vertices, then you can say that it is a planar graph. Therefore, this given graph is a planar graph. Is it clear, ma? This is about planarity of a graph. Have you all understood this? Is it clear? Please respond. Have you understood or not? Okay. Next we trees. Next is trees. So you can anyone give me the definition for tree? Can you give me the definition for tree? A tree means it is a connected graph without circuits or loops. You can say cycles. Okay. So in simple, the tree is a connected graph without any or loops. Without any loops. Sorry. There should exist at least one vertex in a tree. At least one vertex in a tree. Yeah. Suppose if a graph is like this, is it a tree? I have given a graph like this. Can I call this graph as a tree? What is the tree? Tree means it should be a connected graph. First point is it should be a connected graph. Second point is it should not contain any cycles. Is it a connected graph? Yes. From here I can go here. I can reach this vertex. I can reach this vertex. From one vertex I can reach all other vertices. Therefore it is a connected graph. Do we have cycles? No. So no cycles were there. Therefore it is, this given graph is a tree. Next, the properties of trees. Some properties we'll see. తర్వాత First property is there should exist only one path between every pair of vertices. That means it should be a simple graph. I can say that there should exist only one path between every pair of vertices. So, in a graph, you may have multiple edges, right? But in a tree, you should not have multiple edges. Between every pair of vertices, there should exist only one path. Only one path between Undadival. Every pair of vertices, right? In a tree, if the number of vertices are n, monthly once. If the number of vertices are n in a tree, then the tree must have n minus 1 edges. It must have n minus 1 edges. Okay. So these 2 points you must remember regarding trees. Yeah. Next, internal and external vertices of a tree. Internal vertex, external vertex. Sound, Jacob? If the degree of a vertex is at least 2, if the degree of a vertex is at least 2, then the vertex is called internal. If the degree of a vertex is 1, we will call it as external vertex in a tree. Suppose if a graph is like A, B, C, sorry, if a tree is like overaction. Suppose if you have a tree like this, a vertex is internal if the degree is at least 2. That means 2 or more. If it is 1, then it is external vertex. What is the degree of A? 1. For B, it is 2. For E, it is 1. It is 3, 2, 1, and 1. Now tell me what are the internal vertices? The vertices with a degree as at least 2. So 2, 3, 2. These 3 comes under internal vertices, B, C, D. What are the external vertices? The vertices with a degree as exactly 1. So A, E, F, G. A, E, F, G. Can you tell me what is a forest? I gave you the definition for tree, right? What is a forest? In general, what we have in forest? General definition also you can give. Forest means it is union of trees. You can say that union of trees. So you can use the same definition in graph theory also. A forest means it is the disjoint union of trees. Disjoint union of trees means what? Set of trees will be there, but all the trees are not connected. Disjoint means disconnected. n number of trees will be there. N number of trees will be there, but these trees are disconnected. These are all disjoint. There is no connection between these two trees, right? I mean, between these trees, right? So disjoint union, but when you combine all these trees, you can call it as one forest. Okay? So the disjoint union of trees is called a forest. Now tell me, is it a tree or a forest? Is it a tree or a forest? Tree. Is my voice clear, ma? Okay. Dharantesh, what about you? Am I clear? Is my voice clear? Okay. So this is a tree. Right? Suppose if I remove some edges, if I remove any edges, then this tree will become a forest. Suppose you can say that remove this. When I remove this, you will not have this, right? So that means this tree has been divided into two connected components. This has been divided into two connected components, right? So two different connected components, or you can say two different trees were there. So union of these two trees, you can call it as a forest. Clear? That means in a connected tree, a tree means itself is a connected. In a tree, if you remove some of the edges, you will get connected, more number of connected trees. The union of those connected trees, will call them as a forest. A forest. A single tree is also called as a forest. Forest లో ఒకటే ట్రీ ఉంది అనుకో అమ్మా, ఒకటే ట్రీ ఉంది కదా అని దాని ఫారెస్ట్ అనడం మానేయం కదా. చెట్లు నరుకుంటూ పోయారు అనేసి దాన్ని ఫారెస్ట్ అనుకుంటూ మానేయం కదా. విల్ కాల్ ఇట్ యాజ్ ఏ ట్రీ ఓన్లీ, రైట్? సారీ, ఫారెస్ట్ ఓన్లీ. సో a tree, you can simply say that a tree is a forest. A tree is a forest. But is the vice versa is true? That means is a forest is a tree? Is a forest is a tree? Forest is not a tree. Forest means it is a group of trees. Clear? A tree can be a forest, but a forest means it should contain group of trees or union of trees. So a tree is a true forest. This is satisfied, but its vice versa is not satisfied. Not true. Clear? So this is about this end tree traversals. What is a rooted tree? Rooted tree. What is a rooted tree, ma? So a rooted tree means it is a tree where one vertex will act like a root. A tree where one vertex will act like a root. One vertex will act like a root. Something like, suppose if you have a tree like this, right? If you have a tree like this, then I can convert this into a rooted tree. Assume that A is the root. Let us suppose A is the root. Clear? Then what is the rooted tree? Rooted tree will look like A. To A we have E, B. To B we have D and C. Clear? And one more is there, F to G. Clear? So this is a rooted tree. So you can convert this tree into a rooted tree by making one vertex as the root. Clear? Suppose if your F is a root, then how does the tree looks like? F is a root. So F key, one side you have G, one side you have A. For A we have E at one side, B at one side, and B have C at one side, D. So these are called left chains and these are called right chains. Right? Using these, we'll see what is a tree traversal. Tree traversal. So tree traversal means what? It is the process of visiting every vertex in the rooted tree. Process of visiting every vertex in the rooted tree. Clear? One second, you wait, ma. 1 second. I'll just. You know how many tree traversal techniques we have, right? We have 3 types of tree traversal techniques. 3 types. In order, your pre-order, order, and post order. Right? These are the 3 traversal techniques. So, how you will visit the vertices if by using in order traversal? By using in order traversal, first you will visit the root, next left subtree, and then right subtree. Right? For the in order traversal, first you will visit the left subtree, followed by a right root, right subtree. For post order, visit the left subtree first, and right subtree, and then clear. Is I think you know these travels, right? And that is, I'll just. Have you taken this? Now we'll give you an example. So pre-order, in order, and post order. So pre-order means what? Root, left, right. Right? Root, left, right. In order means left, root, right. Post order means left, right, and root. Clear? One more easy way to identify this traversal diamond, to know that traversals are: pre-order is the first visit of a first visit of a vertex, in order is second visit of a vertex, post order is third visit of a vertex. Right? Let me start from the root node. This is your root node, right? So what is the pre-order? Pre-order is the first visit of a first visit of a vertex. You will start visiting the vertices from here. So you have visited for F for the first time. First visit of a vertex will come under pre-order, right? Now you traverse the vertices. So now you have come to B. So this is the first visit, right? First visit means it is a pre-order. Now coming to A. This is the first visit. So A. Next, second visit and third visit. So you have visited A for the second time. Second visit means it is in order. Next, you have visited A for one more time. That is third visit. Third visit is comes under post order. A, right? Next, here you have visited this B for second time. Second visit means it is pre-order, sorry, in order. Next, come to D. This is the first visit. So it is in order, pre-order. Next, first visit for C. Second visit for C. Third visit for C. Clear? Second visit for D. First visit for E. Second visit for E. Third visit for E. Now for D it is 1 to third visit. So third visit. Next for B also it is 1 to 3. Third visit. Next for F it is second visit. Next for J it is first visit, right? Sorry, it is G. Next is second visit. Second visit is, next for I it is first visit. Next comes J, H. H is again the first visit. Next second visit for H. Third visit for H. Next second visit for I. And third visit for I. This is a third visit for G. And third visit for F. Clear? Is it clear, ma? So, or else, if you are not comfortable with this first visit, second visit, and third visit, you can, for pre-order, you can first visit the root, right? So, first is what? Root. So, you write root. Now, go to the left subtree. This is your left subtree. In the left subtree, you again treat this left subtree as a tree. So, now in the second, in this subtree, what is the root? B. Now, go to its left subtree. This left subtree contains only one vertex, that itself will be the root. So, it is A. After the root, you have to go to the left subtree and then go to the right subtree, right? So, again, go back to B, where its left subtree is visited. So, go to the right subtree, that is D. Next comes C. Next comes E. Next go back to F and visit its right subtree. Right? Whichever is comfortable for you, you can use that to know the traversal. It is not clear. Wait for a while. Is it clear now? Now is it clear now? Shall I explain for one more time? Okay. Then take down. Next is spanning trees. And I'll just give you the definition for spanning trees and minimum spanning tree. In the next class, we'll see what are graph traversal techniques and what are different methods to get a minimum spanning tree. Right? So spanning tree means a graph is given. If a graph is given, and from this graph, you will get a spanning tree. A graph with all the vertices, a graph which contains all the vertices with minimum number of edges. With minimum number of edges is called a spanning tree. A graph which contains all the vertices with minimum number of edges. That means you will be given with a graph. To get a spanning tree for this graph, you will consider all the vertices of the graph with minimum number of edges to connect these vertices. If 10 number of edges were there in the graph, you may not require all the 10 edges to connect 4 vertices. What are the minimum number of vertices you require to connect these 3 vertices? Sorry, these 4 vertices. Only include those many edges and then you will call it as a spanning tree. But the vertices should be there. All the vertices should be there, but they can be connected with minimum number of edges. Clear? For example, if you are given with a graph like this, it is a complete graph, right? It is a complete graph. So now I can get a spanning tree from this complete graph. Spanning tree means all the 4 vertices should be there. You can connect these 4 vertices as your wish. Right? I here 1, 2, 3, 4, total of 6 edges were there. You may not require 6 edges. With only 3 edges, I have connected these 4 vertices, right? Therefore, I can call it as one spanning tree. One more spanning tree is, it is also a spanning tree with 4 edges. You can have one more spanning tree. This is also a spanning tree with 3 edges. You can have one more. This is again a spanning tree, right? Like that, for a given graph, you can have more number of spanning trees. More than one spanning tree is possible for a given graph. Clear? And the number of edges in a spanning tree are always n minus 1, where n is the number of vertices. If a spanning tree contains n vertices, then the number of edges are n minus 1. For a tree also the same, right? A tree must always contains n minus 1 edges if the number of vertices are n. Clear? What is minimum spanning tree? Minimum spanning tree means, one second. Read. So minimum spanning tree means, for this minimum spanning tree, you will consider the weighted graph. Weighted graph. That means all the edges will be given with some weights or cost. All the edges will contain weights or cost, right? So you'll consider a weighted graph, right? So spanning tree itself means what? You have to consider the minimum number of edges. Minimum number of edges you have to consider. But when you are considering the edges, the total weight of the edges should be the minimum for a minimum spanning tree. If you construct a spanning tree such that the weight of the spanning tree is minimum, then we'll call it as a minimum spanning tree. The two methods used for minimum spanning tree are Prim's algorithm and the Kruskal's algorithm. You will discuss these two in the next class. Similarly, when a graph is given, you can traverse this graph in two methods, two ways. One is by using DFS or by using BFS. And after traversing the graphs using BFS and DFS, you will get a spanning tree. BFS and DFS will all give you a spanning tree. Is it clear? A graph will be given. You can traverse this graph using BFS and DFS, and the result of BFS and DFS is a spanning tree. And minimum spanning tree is obtained by using Prim's algorithm and Kruskal's algorithm. I'll explain these four in the next class. With that, your 5th unit will be finished. Is it clear, ma'am? This is about today's class. If you have any doubts, you please let me know. Meanwhile, I'll take the attendance.